Hello all. In this video, we will be learning the second lesson of chapter 4. That's about classifying triangles. Now, half of it, almost 75% of the lesson, you will have an idea what it is about. We are going to separate the triangles. Okay, so how can triangles be classified? They can either be classified as according to their angles. That's how their angles are, because a triangle has three angles, so depending on their angle measure we can classify them, or by their side length. So these are the two ways you can classify any kind of triangle. So to start with, first let's only concentrate on the angle measure. So how can angles be classified using their angles? So accordingly, according to the angle measure, we have four kinds of triangles. The first one is acute triangle. As the name suggests, you could know that triangle will have acute angles. The second is a right triangle. So then that is related to right angle. Then obtuse triangle, which is related to an obtuse angle. And then we have equiangular triangle, which means equi means equal, angular means angle. So say equal angles triangle. Okay, now let's see one by one how they look like. This is an acute angle which has three acute angles, and acute angles means any angle which is less than 90 degrees but more than 0, of course. Okay, so any angle which is less than 90 degrees is called as an acute angle. As you can see in this triangle, there are three acute angles. Then there is one right angle in this triangle, which makes it a right triangle. If any triangle has one right angle and a right angle measures 90 degrees, so that's called as a right triangle. The third kind of triangle we have is the equiangular triangle. Equiangular triangle says all the three angles should be equal. Now keep in mind, no matter what angles they have, whether they have right or they have obtuse, doesn't matter. When you add up all the three angles in a triangle, they should add up to 180 degrees. All the three angles in a triangle add up to 180 degrees. So equiangular triangle says that all the angles should be equal. So that literally results in each angle being 60 degrees, because 180 is total. So divided by 3 will give you 60 degrees. So each angle, if it is of 60 degrees, it's called as an equiangular triangle. And the last one is obtuse triangle. Obtuse, is more than 90 degrees. Obtuse is an angle more than 90 degrees but less than 180 degrees. So if any triangle has one obtuse angle, that's called as an obtuse triangle. All right. Now, if we put them in numbers, they will look like this. This has one angle 56, one is 34, but one is 90. So this 90 degree, because of this, it makes it a right triangle. Then this one is 60, one angle is 70 degrees, one angle is 50 degrees. So they all three are acute angles, which makes this an acute triangle. Here, similarly, we have 48 degrees, 23 degrees. So that makes that two acute, but here one is there more than 90 degrees, so which makes this an obtuse angle. So as a result, we call this an obtuse triangle. Obtuse triangle has one obtuse angle and two acute angles. Then last one we have here is the equiangular triangle, which says all the angles are equal, which means respectively they should have 60, 60, 60, because all of them should add up to 180. You can check each of these angle measures add up to 180, not more, not less. So this is an equiangular triangle. All right, let's classify each triangle by its measures. Let's see. Now these are, as you can see, there are two triangles. Okay, so one is triangle EHF and another one is FHG, and together it makes EHG. Triangle EHG is the bigger triangle. Okay, now they asked us to classify triangle EHG. So let's find out. E, H, and G. So you can see already angle H is marked with this sign, which means it is a 90-degree angle. It's a right angle. So what does that make this triangle? That makes this triangle a right triangle, because if any triangle has one right angle, that makes it a right triangle. Next is triangle EFH. So this is E, F, and H. Now we have angle E to be 30. This angle, this part of angle H is 30 also. Now what about this angle? We need to find out how much this angle is, because they said E, F, H. So they're basically referring to this smaller triangle, this triangle here. So as soon as you look at it, you can say that it's an obtuse triangle, but then you need proof, because nobody believes in what you verbally say. So how do you find the angle of this part? How do you find angle F? Now there are two ways to find out. One, you know the angles in a triangle add up to 180 degrees. So either you add 30 plus 30, because already two angles are given. So 30 plus 30 is 60, minus 180, that will give you 120. Else what you can do is, if you leave the triangles aside and look at these two angles, they are angles on a straight line. It is like a straight line, but then it has been divided in two parts. So one part of the angle is 60. What should be the other part? It's like 180 minus 60. It's the same, because angles on a straight line make up 180. So one part is 60, the other part is going to be 120. So angle F is going to be 120. So that makes it an obtuse triangle, because one angle is obtuse, so that makes the whole triangle an obtuse angle. So you have to be careful a bit, because of the angles, sometimes they give you, sometimes they don't. So when they don't, you need to use your senses and then find out the missing angle. Okay, let's see one more. Classify each triangle by its measures. So again, it's the same picture, but then they have asked you to find angle FHG. So FHG. Now already we should have three angles, because you're talking about triangle. So we have angle F, we have angle G. We need to find angle H. Now, again, there are three ways. As you know, an equiangular angle should have all 60, 60, 60. So you can say, because they both are 60, angle H is also 60. So that makes it an equiangular triangle, right? Else, they have given you this to be 90 degrees. This whole thing is 90 degrees, and part of it is 30. This part here is 30. So 90 minus 30 will give you 60. Anyhow, you look at it that way or you look at it this way, it's going to be a 60-degree angle here. So 60, 60, 60, that will make it an equiangular triangle. In fact, there is another way too. You can add them both. 60 plus 60 is 120, and subtract from 180 to get this angle, because angles in a triangle add up to 180. So there are many ways, in fact, so it's up to you. Be smart, be sensible, and then you can find the missing angle and classify the triangle. All right, now keeping this aside, so let's go to some practice. All right, so this question says triangle XYZ is an obtuse triangle. So by now you know how an obtuse triangle looks like. It will have one obtuse angle. What can you say about the types of angles in triangle XYZ? So before that, let me just show you how an obtuse triangle looks like. An obtuse triangle will have an obtuse angle. So always start by drawing an obtuse angle. This is an obtuse angle, it's a very big angle. Okay. So this is triangle XYZ, X, Y, and Z. So what can you say about the types of angles in triangle XYZ? We have this angle is acute, this angle is acute. So it has two acute angles, and the remaining angle is going to be, of course, it's going to be an obtuse angle. So it has two acute angles and one obtuse angle. All right, so they just asked what kind of angles there. So there are two acute angles and one obtuse angle. Okay, let's move on to another question. Classify each triangle by its angle measures. So we have to find for angle DBC. So this is they're talking about angle DBC. So at the first glance, you can see that they gave this to be a right angle, which means angle B is a right angle. So what does that make triangle DBC? That makes it a right triangle, because there is one 90-degree angle here. Okay, triangle ABD. ABD, so the smaller triangle, they want you to say what kind of triangle is this. So here we have this to be 59 degrees, we have this to be 31 degrees, then what happens to this angle here? There are two ways. Either you add up 59 plus 31 and subtract from 180, that will give you the value of this angle, or because again you can look at them as a straight line divided in two parts. Okay, draw it like that, it looks better. So a straight line, I'm just drawing below it so that it's a straight line which has been divided in two like this. Okay, it's perpendicular. This angle, they already said it's going to be 90 degrees. So what is this angle going to be? It is going to be 90 degrees as well, because 180 minus 90. So what does that make triangle ABD? That makes triangle ABD also a right triangle. Okay, moving to the next question, triangle ADC. ADC. So the bigger triangle they're asking. So to make it clear for you, just I'm writing this. Angle A already we know is 59 degrees, right? Angle C is already, they have given us, that's going to be 20 degrees. So we have two acute angles here. So the third angle determines that what kind of angle that is. So here they gave us this to be 31 and this bigger part to be 70. So altogether, if I want to calculate, how am I going to calculate angle D? I'm going to add 70 plus 31. So that's going to give me 101 degrees. So we have two acute angles and one obtuse angle. So that makes it an obtuse triangle. It's easy, but you need to study the figure. If you study the figure and find out the missing angles, it's going to be more easier. Okay, let's do some more questions. Classify each triangle by its angle measures. So here you can see there are more than four triangles, small four triangles and bigger. There are four triangles. So let's see. Classify each triangle. So triangle BEA. So BEA. They're talking about this triangle here. Soon as you see, you know that it is a right triangle because of this. This is right angle. So that makes it a right triangle. Okay, what about angle DBC? DBC, so they're asking this triangle here. So for that, we need to find out the angles. So for angle D, we have it's 30 degrees. Angle B is 30 degrees as well. But angle C, this whole angle we need to find. So let me do it here. Okay, so angle D is 30, angle B is 30 as well. So angle C is going to be, this whole angle will be 60 plus 60, because they said this part is 60, this part is 60. So the whole angle is going to be 60 plus 60. So that's going to be a 120-degree angle. So two acute angles and one big angle which is more than 190 degrees. So that makes it an obtuse triangle. Okay. Triangle ABC. ABC. So they're asking about this triangle here. Okay. So let's write down the angle measurements. So angle A is 60, as they have already given us. Okay, we don't need to find anything here. Then angle C, if I would erase this, you could see that properly. Angle C, this is angle C for this triangle. Okay, so that's 60 as well. Now everything depends on one angle, angle B. But from this itself, you can find out if it is 60-60. During the explanation, I told you that if all the angles are 60 each, that's the name of one of the triangles. But To be sure, let's find out angle B. So angle B is this whole angle here. So that means it's 30 plus 30, right? Because they have divided in two parts. So 30 plus 30, that's going to give you a 60. So that makes it 60, 60, 60. So what does that make triangle ABC? That makes it an equiangular triangle. Because all the three angles are 60, so that makes it an equiangular triangle. Hopefully that part is easy. Only you need a bit of practice because you need to look at the picture more carefully. Okay, now let's move on to the other part of the lesson where we are going to classify the triangles by using angles. Sorry, by using side lengths. Okay, now when you're using side lengths, okay, there are three types of triangles which are classified using their side lengths. The first one is equilateral triangle, which says all the three sides of the triangle are equal as they will be marked in this way. If any two sides or any three sides are equal, they will be marked through these marks. Okay, they will not write in numbers, but they will put these marks. So you need to understand that all the three sides or all two sides are equal. So that's called an equilateral triangle. The next is an isosceles triangle, which says two sides are congruent or two sides are equal. You might hear using most of the time congruent, the word congruent, that means equal. Okay, the next is a scalene triangle. Scalene triangle has no equal sides. All the three sides will be of different lengths. So if put in numbers, they will look like this. Equilateral triangle will have all three sides equal measurement. Isosceles triangle will have two sides congruent because see this side and this side is congruent but the other side is not. And a scalene triangle will have all the three sides with different measurements. Okay, let's look at an example. Find the side lengths of the triangle. Now do keep in mind, if you have these variables, definitely you need to be solving for the variable first. Unless you solve for the variable, you cannot find out the value of any of the length. Okay, so here again we are dealing with variables, so keep in mind wherever you have variables you need to solve the variable first. Okay, so according to the triangle they said two sides are equal, so that makes this an isosceles triangle. You can see these marks, the pink one, which means this side is equal to this side. Okay, that's why they have marked both the sides with that sign. Okay, here now it should be the letter L, but it's got cut by mistake. So first one is find the value of x. Now to find the value of x, we need a formula. Without a formula, we need an expression combined. So without that, we cannot find the value of x. So let's start making an equation first. Sorry, not formula, we need an equation. So let's make the equation first. As we know, this side, that's jk, is congruent to KL, right? That's what that says. So we can write the equation as JK equals KL because this is equal to this. So this is how you need to write 4x minus 1.3 equals x plus 3.2. So you know how to solve these. So once you solve, you will get the x value of x as 1.5. All right, now you have got what the answer, a value of x. Almost half of the question is done. Finding the variable is important. Now let's find the value of the length of each side. So let's start with jk. Okay, so jk, that's 4x minus 1.3. All you need to be doing is substitute the value of x, that's 1.5, in place of x and find out. So that will give you a 4.7. Now let's move on to the next side. Again, you will follow the same steps, just in place of x, you substitute the value of x. Now, if you're smart enough, you don't even need to calculate the value of k and l. As they said, jk is congruent to KL. So if JK is 4.7, KL is also 4.7. So you don't need to do these calculations, but if you want to be sure, of course you can do. Nobody is going to stop you or nobody is going to say that you're wrong. But it depends on your view of the question. All right, so always remember, once you have found the value of the variable, you're almost done with half of the question. Let's see one more. Classify each triangle by its side length. Okay, here, good that they have not given us any kind of variable. so we don't need to solve for the variable. So classify each triangle by its side length. So we have to classify triangle A, B, C. So this triangle here. Okay. Now they said AB is 15, right? They also marked this and this are equal. So if this side is 15, definitely this side is also going to be 15, right? So this side is 15, this side is 15, and also here it's 15. So what does that make? 15, 15, 15. All the three sides are 15. That makes it an equilateral triangle. All right, now let's move on to the next one, triangle ABD. So triangle ABD, in fact the whole triangle they're asking. So AB is 15, AD is 18. What about BD? How do we calculate BD? From B to C, it's 15. C to D, it's 5. So to calculate the whole length, we add 15 and 5. So that makes it BD 20. 15 plus 5 is 20. So one side is 15, the other is 18, and the base is 20. So what does that make? That makes it a scalene triangle. So you need to observe the triangle very carefully, then you can identify the triangles. All right, let's move on to another one. Now again here we have y's. So the first thing is to do find y first. So they said find the length of equilateral. Equilateral, now sometimes they might not mark it, but they will say it in the question like this. Equilateral means you need to understand all the three sides are equal. Now of course we need to find y first. So to find y we need an equation. So to form the equation, we can take any two sides and say that they are equal. So you can say 3y minus 4 equals 2y plus 3. That's perfectly fine. You can also say 2y plus 3 equals 5y minus 18 because all three are equal. So it doesn't matter what kind of which side you make it equal to which side, finally the value of y you are going to get is going to be the same. So I have taken here the side of fg and gh. So 3y minus 4 equals 2y plus 3. So as usual you will solve the equation. So that will leave you with y equals 7. Now almost you have found the variable value. So all you need to do is substitute in any one of the expressions and find out the length. So let's find the length of fg first. 3y minus 4, which means 3 multiplied by 7 because the value of y is 7. So 21 minus 4 will give you 17. Now be smart enough. You don't need to calculate 2 multiplied by 7 plus 3, 5 multiplied by 7 minus 18. You don't need to do all that. They said it's an equilateral triangle. So one side of the triangle, you found it to be 17. So the other side is also going to be 17 as well as this side is also going to be 17. Now, even if you substitute, I have shown here, even if you substitute, you're going to get all 17s. But we have to work smart, right? So we can write a statement saying fg is congruent to gh, which is also congruent to fh. Means all the three sides are equal. As congruent means equal. So fg is equal to gh, which is also equal to fh. So all the sides are 17. So before you do, think smart so that your doing of the question, the steps become lesser. All right, so let's start doing this question. Okay, so this question is EGH. So look at the triangle before you start doing it. Once you understand the triangle, it will be easier for you to do. Okay, so first let's look at the triangle. They said this is equal to this. See, you can see double lines. So which means both the double lines are equal. So that makes this a 3 as well. These two sides are equal, which means if this side is 8, which they had given, so this side is also going to be 8. This line in between is going to be 7.4. Okay, classify each triangle by its side lengths. Where did that question move? All right, triangle EGH. EGH, so the complete triangle. They are asking to classify the complete triangle. So we know the length of E to H is 8 and H to G, G is 8 also. So two sides are 8 and 8. And what about this base here? This is going to be 3 plus 3, because from here to here it's 3, from here to here it's 3. So that makes it a 6. So if any triangle has two equal sides, that makes that an isosceles triangle. Just wait. Okay, so that makes that an isosceles triangle. Okay, so triangle EFH, we have EFH, so they're talking about this triangle here. So one side is 8, this line is 7.4, as they have shown. This part of the triangle is 7.4, and from here to here it's 3. So all the three sides are different, so that makes that a scalene triangle. Of course, you need to know the kinds of triangles, only then the names, then only you can classify. Triangle FHG, HFG, HFG. So it's almost like the previous one. Here we have 7.4, this is 3 and this is 8. So that makes it again a scalene triangle. So classifying triangles like this is easier. Now, find the side lengths of each triangle. From by the marks, they said that it is an equilateral triangle, right? So because they said it's an equilateral triangle, we can say any two sides are equal. So to find, first of all, we need to find the value of y. So to find the value of y, we need an equation. So let's write the equation. 6y equals 4y plus 12. That's because they two sides, all the three sides are equal, but they did not give us this side, they gave us only this, so we have to take use of only that. So that's going to be 6y minus 4y equals 12. So that's going to be 2y is equal to 6. So once we find the value of y, you all have, what you need to do, you need to substitute in any one side and say the sides are all equal. So for me, this part is easy. So 6y is equal to 6 multiplied by 6, which is going to give you 36. So all the three sides of the triangle are going to be 36, 36, and 36, because they said it is an equilateral triangle. They did not write in the question, but they did mark the sides. They marked all the three sides, which means all the three sides are equal. So if one side is 36, all the three sides are going to be 36 as well. Let's move to another question. Now in this question, they said only these two sides are equal. Now, when they say when two sides are equal, you need to follow that order. You cannot write now 4x plus 0.5. You cannot write this equation at all. Okay, you cannot write this equation, because it's a wrong equation. They did not say this side is equal to this. They did not say that. They only said this side is equal to this side. So all what you need to do is write the equation properly. 2x plus 1.7 equals x plus 2.4. So that will make that 2x minus x equals 2.4 minus 1.7. So that makes it x equals 0.7. So you have found the value of x. All what you need to do is find the values, sides. So the first one is going to be 2x plus 1.7. So 2x plus 1.7. If you want, you can even name the triangle as ABC and you can do it, no problem. So this is going to be x, value of x is 0.7. So this is going to be 1.4 plus 1.7 is going to give you 3.1. So one side of the triangle, this side is 3.1. All right, so you can say that if this side is 3.1, you can also say this side is also 3.1, as both of them are equal. So one angle is, one length is this one, and another length is also 3.1. And what about the next length, which is 4x plus 0.5? So you need to find that out, because it's not same. So that's going to be 2.8 plus 0.5, which is going to give you a 3.3. So we have two lengths with 3.1, 3.1, and the next one is 3.3. So these are the three lengths of the triangle. If you want, you can write A, B, C, or up to you, whichever letter you want, and you can find out by saying A, B is this, B, C is this, up to you. But this way is perfect as well. Alright, let's move to another question. Classify each triangle by the side lengths. Now this is similar to that easier question which we did. What did they say? They said all these three sides are equal and it's also equal to this side. So if this side is 10, which means this side is also going to be 10. Now if this side is 10, this side also is 10 and this side is also 10 and RP is 17. Okay, classify triangle PST. So triangle PST, so they're talking about this triangle. So all the three sides are equal, it's all 10, 10, 10. So that makes it an equilateral triangle. What about triangle RSP? RSP. So one side is 17, this side is 10, and this side is also 10. So two sides are 10, but one side is 17. So if two sides are equal means that makes that an isosceles triangle. Then triangle RPT. RPT, that's the whole triangle they're asking about. So R to P is 17, P to T is 10. Then what about R to T? R to T 10? It cannot be 10 because R to S is 10, S to T is 10. So all together to find this out, you need to add 10 plus 10 will give you a 20. So one side is 17, one side is 10, one side is 20. That makes it a scalene triangle because all the three are different. So before you start doing the question, first read the figure, read the diagram and write down the numbers wherever possible. So that will be easier for you to classify the triangles. This one again, we have to work with variables. So it has z's, so we have to find the value of z. To find the value of z, we have to write an equation. So to write an equation, as they have shown, all the three sides are equal. So that makes it an equilateral triangle. Okay, so if it's an equilateral triangle, I can take any two sides and may write the equation. So I will take z plus 5 equals 3z minus 1. If you want, you can write 3z minus 1 equals 4z minus 4, or you can even say z plus 5 equals 4z minus 4. Up to you, it doesn't matter because it is an equilateral triangle. Okay, so you can make any two sides equal. So the rule is that 6 minus 3z equals negative 1, negative 5. So that means it's negative 2z equals negative 6. So that makes that z equals 3. So the value of z is going to be 3. Now that we know the value of z, we can find out the length of any of them. So let me find out for first z plus 5. Z is 3, 5. So that makes it 8. Now as it is an equilateral triangle, if this side is 8, this side is also going to be 8 and this side is also going to be 8 respectively. So you have to just write side lengths are 8, 8 and 8 because that's an equilateral triangle. If you want, you can simply name the triangle and also write it, no problem. Either way you do, your answer has to be 8, 8 and 8. One more question. Okay, now here they said only two sides are equal. That makes it an isosceles triangle. Or anyways, anyhow, they did not give us this length. So the equation you're going to write is going to be 2x plus 6.8 equals 8x plus 1.4. So same way how you would solve equations. 1.4 minus 6.8. So this will give us a negative 6x and this will give us 4.4 or negative 5.8. So both sides have negatives. That is x is equal to 5.4 divided by 6. Now, if you divide this, you will get 0.9 as the answer. Do divide it using the long division. 5.4 divided by 6. If you have any doubt about this answer, you can do that way and find out what's the value of x. Now that we have found the value of x, all what we need to do is take any one, as they both are equal, so it doesn't matter which one you take. So let me take 2x plus 6.8 and solve and find out what is the answer. So that's going to be 0.9 plus 6.8. So 1.8 plus 6.8 is going to give you 8.6. So both sides of the length is going to be 8.6 because it's an isosceles triangle, and also they mark that both sides are equal. So if this side is 8.6, this side is going to be 8.6 as well. So you have to write lengths are 8.6 and 8.6. As they did not ask us to find, I think yes, they did not give us any expression for this part. So this is how you need to find. All what you need to do is first find the value of the variable. Once you find that, that's going to be more easier. Hopefully you have understood this lesson. If you have understood, do like the video and keep practicing till we meet again in another video.